But I wasn't at school with Nigel Farage. I don't know what songs he sang at school. So I'm happy.
You have no evidence for that suggestion.
I'm happy to clarify. I did say it's for the public to make up their mind.
David Lammy erupts live on air after Nigel Farage's stunning revelation. You're not going to believe what just happened live on air. It started as a routine political interview, calm, civil, maybe even a little boring. But within minutes, everything changed. David Lammy, the Deputy Prime Minister, completely lost his cool after Nigel Farage dropped something no one saw coming. The tension was real, the cameras were rolling, and viewers across the UK were left asking one question: did that really just happen? Nigel Farage was invited onto a national radio show, the kind of segment that's supposed to be a lively, but manageable, political debate. The topic? Britain's leadership, national unity, and how the current opposition is handling its message to ordinary people. Lammy, sharp-tongued and quick on the defensive, was ready. Farage, as always, came loaded with facts, figures, and a flair for political drama. But midway through the exchange, Farage leaned forward and said something that completely shifted the tone of the conversation. "David," he began, with that half-smile he's famous for, "you talk about integrity, but you forget people still remember what happened during your party's internal crisis. You were there. You played a role. And the public hasn't forgotten." There was a pause. The studio fell silent. And then, in a moment that's now gone viral, David Lammy erupted. He fired back, visibly angry. "You know what, Nigel? You sit there throwing stones at everyone else, pretending you're the voice of the people, but you've done more to divide this country than anyone in modern politics." His voice rose. His hands were shaking slightly as he gestured toward the camera. The host tried to intervene, saying, "Gentlemen, let's keep this civil," but it was too late. Lammy had unleashed years of pent-up frustration over Farage's Brexit legacy, over the political polarization, over what he sees as hypocrisy dressed up as patriotism. And for a few seconds, it didn't feel like a debate. It felt like a confrontation between two visions of Britain. What Farage had revealed wasn't a secret document or a scandal, it was something deeper. A truth bomb, as many online are calling it. He exposed, not evidence, but contradiction, the growing gap between what Labour says it stands for and how some believe it actually behaves behind the scenes. Farage's line hit exactly where it hurts: credibility. He accused Lammy and his colleagues of being career politicians more interested in optics than conviction. And that's when Lammy snapped. Whether you agree with Farage or not, one thing's clear: this wasn't just a soundbite moment. It was a window into the emotional exhaustion of modern British politics. People are tired. Tired of speeches, tired of spin, tired of promises that don't match reality. And this fiery exchange, as uncomfortable as it was, put that frustration on full display. One journalist from The Spectator described it perfectly. For once, political theater became real. No handlers, no scripts, just two men saying exactly what millions are thinking out loud. And the reactions online, they've been wild. Within hours, clips of the exchange flooded social media. One user wrote, "This is the real David Lammy, passionate, unfiltered, and tired of Nigel's smug act." Another countered, "Farage just told him the truth. Lammy's outrage proves he hit the mark." And then there were the memes. You know, the internet never misses a beat. Within minutes, there were edits of Lammy's reaction set to dramatic music, captions like, "When the truth finally hits," and gifs looping the moment he slammed his notes on the table. But beneath all the noise, there's something bigger happening here. This wasn't just about two men yelling on live radio. It was about the clash of two political worlds: the institutional, polished establishment versus the populist, blunt, say it as it is, insurgency. Let's not forget, Lammy represents the establishment side of Labour's comeback under Keir Starmer. He's articulate, well-educated, and perfectly media-trained. His role has been to project calm competence, a sharp contrast to the chaos of the past. Farage, on the other hand, thrives in chaos. He creates it. He's built his brand on being unpredictable, the man who says what others won't. So when these two forces collide, it's always explosive. But this time, it felt personal. One insider at LBC Radio later told the Daily Express, "The tension was off the charts. You could see Lammy trying to hold back, but once Farage hit that nerve, it was over." And here's where it gets really interesting. Since that exchange, political analysts have been debating what this means for the broader narrative heading into the next election cycle. For Farage, it's a win, another viral moment reinforcing his image as the disruptor who says what others won't. For Lammy, it's more complicated. Some see it as a sign of authenticity that rare glimpse of genuine passion politicians are often accused of lacking. But others worry it may have shown frustration instead of control, a dangerous look for a man poised to play a key role in Starmer's leadership team. As one BBC commentator put it, Lammy showed heart, but in politics, heart without composure can be costly. Still, what made this moment so unforgettable was that it felt real. No spin. No pre-written lines. Just two political heavyweights, clashing in real time, under bright studio lights. And you could feel the tension not just in their words, but in the silence between them. That silence spoke volumes. Because deep down, this wasn't about ideology. It was about exhaustion, the frustration of two men who've spent decades fighting over Britain's direction, still no closer to common ground. As the show wrapped up, both men were visibly drained. Lammy muttered something about facts mattering more than feelings. Farage chuckled and replied, "You're right, David, so let's start telling them." The host quickly cut to commercial, the studio lights dimmed, and just like that, it was over. But the fallout? That's only just beginning. So what happens now? Well, one thing's for sure, the next time these two share a stage, everyone will be watching. Because in an age of scripted politics, moments like this cut through the noise. They remind people that underneath the headlines and policies, politics is still human, messy, emotional, unpredictable. And that's exactly why this exchange matters. It wasn't just a clash of personalities. It was a glimpse of Britain's political soul, raw, divided, but still very much alive. And as one viewer put it perfectly in the comments section, it wasn't Farage or Lammy who won. It was honesty. Finally, we saw what these politicians really think. But maybe the real question isn't who won the argument. Maybe it's this. If tempers are already flaring like this now, what happens when election season truly begins? Because if this was just a preview, Britain's political fireworks are only getting started.